Okay, is that doing what we needed to do? I guess we'll find out here in just a second. I'm going to test the stream real quick. All right, testing audio, testing. All right, testing audio, testing. All right, everything seems good. That's exciting. Okay. We will keep chat here. Set that up over here so I can see whatever messages pop up. So that'll be good. This is cool. This is really cool. I'm really excited about all this. Alright, got all the streaming stuff set up. So we'll give it a few more minutes. As people are coming in, feel free to come in and we'll start here officially in maybe 5-ish minutes. But so far everything looks like it's working just fine, which is great. We've got the music going in the background, which is what I wanted to have happen. We've got my audio seems to be doing just fine. Lighting is okay. It's okay. What if we change some stuff up? Alright, is that better? Yeah, marginally. Marginally it's better. That's okay. Cool. This is awesome. I'm trying out all kinds of new setups here that I've never done before. I've never hooked my camera up like this before, and we're doing all kinds of things at the same time. I can see myself, and it's wild. I can see myself in 4 different places. 3, 1, 2, 3. So 3 places. That's so cool. This is going to be a blast. So yeah, feel free to hop in at any time and go ahead and just hop in the chat here. Let's get us a question to start off with. The question I want to start off with is, what were your pickups for the week? All right, so we'll pin that for the next little bit. Anyone who wants to go ahead and chat, there you go. That's your starting question. Oh, this is so cool. I wanted to do this for a while. I'm glad that we're figuring it all out. This will be fun. Yeah, so 4-ish minutes, I guess, until we start. Put this on the notes. If we do this again, I should make notes of what we should do next time. Grab a pen. Okay. Make a few notes. I don't know. I've been thinking about this for a while, and it's like this is something that I think could really be a good benefit to the community since no one's doing anything like this, as far as I can tell. I don't know if I say that actually, but like the whole gimmick here, the yeah, 6:57. So we'll give it 3 more minutes. Click rate, 2 views. Hey, cool. Good to see. I can see stats here in the real time. This is neat. This is really interesting. I don't know. This is interesting. Get ourselves a drink. Good. I don't know what good means, but okay. I just have a little notification here saying good. I'm glad it's good. That's good. I'm glad it's good. Good, good, good. All right, we'll start here in about a minute. This is cool. This is brand new stuff. This is exciting, brand new stuff. This is going to be cool. Two views. Hello and welcome. Welcome to the stream. Happy to have you. All right. That's coming. Just a few seconds. Just a few seconds more. Then we start right on time at 7. When I was teaching the comic book workshop, a lot of people would show up and give advice, and I'd look up a lot of advice as far as how to teach people and like hold down a room of people, and learned a lot of stuff. But one of the more important things that I found to be very true is that if you start on time and you end on time, then people respect your time, and they also start and end on time. And that's an important lesson, I think, because it's like a lot of things don't start on time, and it's always frustrating. Nobody likes it when that happens. So if you just start and end on time, regardless of how much got done, I think over time you will see an improvement. All right, but hey, that is 7 o'clock. Hey, everyone. Welcome to Comic Crash, and welcome to just Comics Chill Night. This is the whole thing. Part of the inspiration for this was that I was just thinking about how Wednesday is a comic book pickup night, and that's when everyone picks up their new books. And then Friday we have the whole weekend, and that's like a whole thing. But also it's like things are kind of big and silly right now, which is really frustrating. And it's like, I just want a chill place where I can hang out with friends, read my comics, make sure I have dedicated time to read my comic book pickups for the week, and just chill. And I figured, why not bring everyone on board? It would be a lot of fun. So that's what we're here to do today. So we're here, we're comfortable. I'm wearing a comfy hoodie. I've got a beverage of tasty variety here. It's a G Fuel hydration mix, which is pretty nice. And I've got my comics here, so let's go ahead and introduce the stars of the show. So first off, we've got the Killing Joke, but this is the original coloring of it. Now, if you've been paying attention to some of my shorts that I've been showing off, particularly on TikTok is where I focus my shorts. Though, I don't know. We'll see how I feel about that later. YouTube has been doing a lot better for me as far as shorts, but if you've been paying attention to the shorts, you would see that I picked this up, and that this is kind of a big deal because it's hard to find the original coloring, but they re-released the book in its original form with the original coloring, which is kind of a big deal. So I'm excited to go through that, read it, just kind of share my thoughts as I'm having them with you. I've also got Detective Comics 475 right there. So Detective Comics 475 is a really important issue. This was one of the first Joker revival stories, or one of the early ones in any case. Famously was adapted into an episode of Batman the Animated Series. If I remember correctly, I think that episode was the first appearance of Harley Quinn in anything. She doesn't appear in the original issue, but it's a cool issue, and it was a cool episode, which makes the issue really significant. So I'm excited about that. Go ahead and give that a read today. And then this one's kind of big, but this will be really exciting. This is Sensational Wonder Woman Special number 1. So lately I've been kind of interested in reading more Wonder Woman, seeing what's up with that. There's been a lot of conversations about Wonder Woman kind of being a little bit mistreated with this current run, which is really unfortunate. I mean, I get it. When the Superman up until this recent movie was kind of misplaced a lot in a lot of media, and it took a long time for his character to kind of bounce back from that. So, these are the 3 issues I'm going to go ahead and give a read today. This is going to be nice. I would love to hear about what issues you've got, both things you picked up and otherwise. I don't know. Tell me about what you're reading tonight. And like I said, we're just going to hop into these. And as questions come up, we'll go ahead and chat. We'll talk about whatever you guys have to bring up. And I'll give my thoughts live as I'm going through these books, and should be a fun time. I think I have an order here on the side. Let's see if I point it right there. I have something of a reading order here on the side, so I think we'll stick with that order, which means we'll start with Detective Comics 475, the Laughing Fish. This is kind of a fun story. So if you guys don't know the story, basically, like, it was adapted in the animated series really well. One of the gimmick of it is that the Joker wants to copyright Fish because he's running out of money. And so he figured if he can copyright Fish, then he'll get portions of every sale of every fish ever, and he could just make a lot of money, and it would be legal, and nobody can do anything about it. Problem is, though, you can't copyright fish. It's a natural resource. So he goes on this spree causing all kinds of crimes until people allow him to copyright fish. And it's silly and it's ridiculous, but I'm wondering if the original issue could perhaps share some new light on this. Maybe it adds some new gravitas to the situation. I don't know. We'll see. We'll read the book. I'll give you my thoughts as I go forward with it. Jump in and out of the book every so often. And if you have any questions, I'm monitoring the chat. If you have any thoughts or if you want to talk anything about comics, it's right here. I'm happy to answer them. So let's go ahead and go. Let's go ahead and I'll turn up the music while I'm just chilling here. That'll be fun. All right. We start on this pretty great image here. Yeah, there's already things I'm going to have to talk about here. This is kind of fun. So let's go ahead and hop into a little bit of what I'm seeing already here, because there's a couple of interesting things I noticed. First off is that it's a serialized story, right? So there's going to continue a lot of what happened prior in the Detective Comics and Batman books. And we have this little interaction that's not in the episode from the animated series where Batman is meeting up with Silver St. Cloud. Silver St. Cloud being one of the people he dates. Let's go ahead and turn this music down a little bit. Silver St. Cloud is one of the various people that Batman has dated in his time in the comics. Recently, Silver St. Cloud showed up in an episode of My Adventures with Superman in the second season. That was fun. I saw it's like, hold on, is that Silver St. Cloud? And it was cool, and very exciting. But there's a couple of things here. First of all, he's pretty sure Silver St. Cloud knows that Bruce Wayne is Batman, and he's going over to her apartment to try and prove it. And everyone kind of covers their tracks really well. But check this out. This is hilarious. So, if you look here, right there, yeah, you can see that Steve Englehart is the writer of this particular issue. Oh, look at that! That's cool too. They credited Bill Finger in this book in the re-release. That's nice. That's a whole gimmick. But if we look at one of the panels here, there's a panel where right there, Batman is next to a billboard saying "Read the story by Steve Englehart," and that's very fun. I love the kind of self-referential things that you find in comic books sometimes. It's very funny. It's a blast. Looks like we got another person who joined in. Welcome. 3 views. Wow, that's excellent. This is great. I'm excited to have you guys here. So, while that's happening, yeah, that's just a funny little gimmick that I see sometimes in various comics where the artist of the book or the writer of the book will self-insert their name or a message to the audience. Yeah. Let's make sure that's all quiet down. Now, as far as the interaction here with Silver St. Cloud, this is pretty significant, I think. But I have no idea. But it is a good incentive to me that, like, I kind of want to go back and read some of these, the preceding issues of Detective Comics. I imagine they're easier to find than this one is, at least originally. But we'll see. So that's that. And now we're hopping into the main meat of the issue where Batman is just doing his crusade across the city. He's thinking about Silver St. Cloud. He thinks a lot. He thinks a lot. He has a lot to think about. But as he's thinking about what's up with Silver St. Cloud here, he goes to the docks. And when he gets to the docks, he finds that all of the fish have been poisoned. They're not dangerous, but they all look like the Joker. It's really wacky stuff. So I'll read a few more pages here and we will get back to it. Remember, if you have any thoughts on the issue I'm reading, or if you have any thoughts on the issues you're reading, or you have comic book questions, go ahead and put it in the chat. I'm monitoring that and I'll make sure we answer them in the next couple of pages or once I see them. It'll be fun. Put some music going. Okay, let's hop back into the topic a little bit. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk a little bit about what has happened more. Like this is this is kind of interesting just because it is so much more expanded on than the animated series episode that I know this book to be from. So that's neat. What has happened so far? Batman has gone to the docks and he's talkative in this, which is always very fun. 70s Batman. He's they worked really, really hard. The publishing and writers and artists, they worked really, really hard to try and make Batman a lot more serious than he had been in the past. Trying to move past Adam West a little bit. But the way they did it is this is actually my favorite way to interpret Batman because what they did is they made him serious, but he spoke seriously. He still had a lot of the qualities that Adam West gave him. He's still very friendly. He's very talkative. He shares opinions with people. Like check this out. This is almost I can almost hear Adam West saying this, but just the fact that it is so much darker than Adam West, it's different. Anyway, like Batman or fish. Get a grip on yourself, man. What are you yelling about? Um, it scares the britches off me. It's supposed to. Fear clouds your mind, and that's the Joker's strongest weapon. He's just talking to some random dude about this. But what does he want? Why would he make the fish look like him? That I don't know. With ordinary men, you might figure some motive, but the Joker's mind is clouded with madness. His motives make sense to him alone. It's like, that is, it's just almost poetic. And he just, like I said, he acts almost like if Adam West were to be given serious dialogue. It, it like sits on the line between serious and silly, and it's really fun. I really like this interpretation of Batman. And then, of course, the Joker shows up to the copyright office, and this scene is nearly word for word the same as it is in the animated series, which is really cool and really interesting. Uh, but what I really love is the panel layouts here. Check this page out. Not that page, the other page. Yeah, check out that page. That is a nice layout. We get like this really nice hero shot of the Joker just really commanding the space. I love the lettering on the ha-ha-has. And then we have like this fun dialogue back and forth between the Joker and Mr. Francis. It's a cool page. I really like this. There's something about these old comics that just feels good. Um, Also, we've gotten like uh, during this part is a really famous Harley Quinn introduction. Uh, she obviously isn't in the book, but the Joker, the way that he interacts with his henchmen is still very, very interesting, very fascinating. It's like uh, very dark humor, you know? All right. Now, if you'll pardon me, I'm going to go ahead and put the instructions in the chat here. Let people know that you can go ahead and just comment whatever. You know, we're here to hang out. We're here to talk comics. We're here to talk about your comics. We're here to just chill and enjoy some chill music here. Yeah, so I'll go ahead and turn off the music and then we'll get back into the book in a little bit, in a few pages. All right. Like I said, I'm here to chat. I'm monitoring the chat. Let's get a few more pages in. Mm. That was interesting. All right, that was really, really interesting. I got some more things to share with you. Like I said, this expands the story past where the animated series took it. Uh, what we have going on right now is we're going back to Rupert Thorne. Rupert Thorne is one of the crime boss families, the Thorne family. He's one of the heads of the crime bosses in Gotham City. And um, this is one of those things where it's like, uh, it's referencing very heavily events that have happened in the past. It mentions that specifically 3 stories ago, Rupert Thorne had this thing where there was a bid on Batman's secret identity, and Rupert Thorne had uh, Professor Professor. Where did he go? Strange. Hugo Strange. He had Hugo Strange apparently killed off, but Hugo's ghost has been haunting him. And looks like the Penguin and the Joker also bid on Batman's secret identity and all kinds of shenanigans. But what I find really cool about this summary is it isn't just like a summary of the past stories for the sake of having a summary of the past stories, right? It's a summary that ties in very, very much to the overall story of what's going on in this particular issue. The Joker shows up. He talks about how he deserves to be the one to take down Batman. He deserves to be the one who knows Batman's secret identity. And it's kind of neat. You know, it's kind of neat that there's like a way that they found to take the obligatory, we got to continue the story scene and have a tie into the current story that's going on. That's masterful storytelling. I can't tell you how many comics I've read from around this era where they'll have the scene that continues the plot that's been ongoing, but it has nothing to do with what's currently going on. So this is this is a nice change of pace. I can really appreciate this. And like I said, that is a scene that doesn't show up in the animated series at all. But the next scene we are on is we're about to meet up with, again, Mr. Francis from the Copyright Office. The Joker has threatened him since Mr. G. Carl Francis won't let the Joker copyright Fish, and he's really spooked about it. So Batman is showing up at his apartment, and we're going to see what happens next. So, like I said, if you have anything you want to talk about with this issue in particular, or you want to talk about your issues, or uh, we want to talk about comics or questions, or just hang out with each other, go ahead and throw in a comment. I'm monitoring the chat, so I'll make sure to hop in, and I'll see you again in a couple of pages. All right, it's been a few pages. Let's hop back in. So this scene with G. Carl Francis in his apartment, this is huge. This is like one of the elements of this particular issue and this particular era of Batman. What am I saying? Let's try again. Now, around about 1970, actually right on 1970, there was a big push in publishing, like I said earlier, to get Batman away from Adam West and get him closer to his Golden Age roots. We often attribute the Dark Knight Rises to the not the Dark Knight Rises, the Dark Knight Returns. We attribute the Dark Knight Returns to being the big return to serious Batman stories, but where that really discounts all of the big work they were doing in the 70s. For a while there was talk that they really couldn't keep using the same gimmicky kind of villains like the Joker in Batman stories, so he disappeared for a while. But they were able to bring him back. This is one of the earlier stories where they were able to bring the Joker back. And he does something really, really interesting that harkens back to the early Golden Age era of Batman. So right here, let's go right there. That panel right there, where the Joker makes his big announcement on TV, that is very reminiscent of the first issue of Batman that the Joker shows up in, where the Joker would announce his crimes on the radio, because TV was invented, but like nobody had one. So he was on the radio and he would announce his crimes, and then the crimes would happen. And the gimmick of it and the challenge for Batman was that he had to find the answer to Joker's crimes and like figure out how he was doing these things ahead of time. It's really cool. And this particular story, they find a way to bring back that gimmick, which is really, really important for, Batman Joker type stories. This story is actually really significant. It would go on to influence a lot of stuff later. Now, of course, the Joker made this announcement he was going to kill G. Carl Francis, and he does. He fills the room with a type of gas. They don't explain it very well in the issue. They explain it a lot better in the animated series episode. But he sprayed Francis with like one half of a chemical compound, and then the other half was pushed into his room at midnight. And the two combined were able to get Joker's job done. Now, Batman, during this whole time, he's considering like his personal drama. Like DC was not much into the personal drama of their characters for a very long time until they saw that Marvel was doing really successful with it, being really successful with it, I should say. And then when they started implementing more Marvel like drama storytelling into things like Legion of Superheroes or Teen Titans was the other one, they started adding it into other things. So you have Batman here who's waiting for the Joker to strike, trying to figure it all out, and at the same time, he can't stop thinking about Silver St. Cloud, which is kind of interesting. Seeing the animated series episode of this story is one thing, but seeing this book and like seeing it connect to so many other things, it adds more layers to it. It's really fun. And this is what I look for in an adaptation of an animated series episode or a comic book or like vice versa. If you're going to adapt something, you might as well add in a new dimension to make the new version of it just as enjoyable to engage with as the other thing. Give me a reason to want both, not just one or the other. And it's something I see a lot of things, particularly anime, really drives me nuts with it because it's just a one for one recreation. I don't want a one for one recreation. I want to see something different. Anyway, this is really significant. We're about to go into another unique scene from the book versus the episode. So we'll hop into that. We'll take a look at it. And I'll see you guys again in a couple of pages. Just a reminder, if you want to chat or you have thoughts or ideas or you want to share your books or you have comic book questions, throw it in the chat and I'll keep track of it. We'll chat. It'll be great. Until then, let's turn the music back up and get back to reading. Oh. Oh, okay. So I guess never mind. That was the last page. The last page. Rupert Thorne, he was freaked out earlier, right? So he hopped in his car and started driving, and he picked up a hitchhiker, Silver St. Cloud. So now you have this heinous criminal and the girl that Batman likes driving off into the night, and it says to be continued. So I guess I'm going to have to find either a repo or the actual 476 continue the story. Even though I know how the story ends, but like I'm invested in the differences. So hey, before we hop into it, I want to take a look at some of the ads. Of course, we have the classic comic book staple ad. We have Hostess Fruit Pies. That's always very fun. We get all kinds of superheroic adventures where the gimmick in the day is saved once we get some Hostess Fruit Pies. It's very fun. It's very silly, and I love that kind of silliness. It's a great time. Um, then we also have, let's see, the next ad that we have here that I think is really fun. We have one for BB guns. I don't think you would ever see a BB gun in a modern comic book be advertised. Maybe. I don't know. Well, probably not because modern comic book ads are kind of lame. Uh, let's see. We have one of these MLM ads for kids that's just telling you to sell a magazine that nobody wants. And if you sell enough of these magazines that nobody wants, then they'll give you some money and then you can be a part of something. Hold on, let me adjust lighting real quick. All right, how's that? That's a little bit better. Let's try this though. How's that? Oh, that does wonders. Oh, that's great. Oh, yeah. Oh, that is so nice. That is really, really good. I'll go ahead and put this on the notes of things to check into uh, for the next time we do this. Okay. Let's see. Let's go to the next advertisement we have here. We have an advertisement for another kids MLM. Sell candy bars and we'll give you, points towards money. And it's like, these were all scams. I don't think anyone was truly fooled by any of these ads, but there's something about old comic book ads. You can almost see the history of like what kids cared about, or at least what people wanted kids to care about through the ads. And when we hop into the Wonder Woman story, if there's ads in that one, I think we'll see a marked difference. We got an ad for sea monkeys, whatever sea monkeys are. I love these reproductions. I wonder if they have to pay royalties to some of these companies for more to be able to reuse the advertisements. I don't know. I'd have to look into that. We've got this ad for Slim Jim beef jerky. That's a satisfy your meat tooth. That's a I don't like that. I don't like that I read that. That's gross. Showcase 97, we have a Power Girl ad here, along with an ad for posters of people I don't know. Who are these? Farrah, John, Jamie, Steve McQueen? Donnie and Marie? I know who Donnie and Marie are. Uh, Group B, Kiss. I know who Kiss are. Hardy Boys. Aren't the Hardy Boys just an illustration? What can I say? I have all kinds of posters about illustrations. That doesn't mean anything. We also have an ad for Firestorm. So I love these retro comic book ads. Like, I almost want to take some of these retro comic book ads and turn those into posters. Like, some of these are really neat. Other advertisements, we got like your standard, oh, you can learn karate or you can do other things ads. Um, Earn muscles. This is cool. We have an ad for Superman versus Muhammad Ali. This is a cool book. It kind of dates this book more than almost any other detail in it. But that's cool. That's a cool ad. I have a copy of it in here somewhere. That's not it. That's not it. Where did it go? That's not it. That's not it. Oh, weird. Where did it go? I promise I have a copy of that. Superman versus Shazam, Superman versus Flash, Fantastic Four. There it is. Yeah, I have it. Superman versus Muhammad Ali. It's cool. This is cool. An ad for the thing. Like, that's awesome. And I feel my some of my thoughts are actually that if you're a completionist collectionist, collectionee, collector, that's the if you're a perfectionist collector, I think it's worth looking for the house ads for some of these really big stories. Like uh, one thing I've been on the search for, I've been hoping to find the house ads and or an advertising poster for the Man of Steel miniseries. That's on my list right now that I'm looking for. I'm also looking for the one for Superman Unchained. Um, Superman Unchained would be tricky. You can't see it, but above my head here, there is like this nice display to Superman Unchained. It's my favorite story. It's my favorite Superman book. It would be cool if I could find the house ad for it. All right, let's get back into the ads here. We'll wrap this one up. We've also got an advertisement for, we got more of those scam ones here. And then we have the pull list here. There's an advertisement here for collecting your weekly poll list. Let's see, in the year 19 whatever, it costs 35 cents each to subscribe to each of these books. 60 cents if you wanted certain other books, some of the more longer ones or the more popular ones. Yeah. Oh, that's fun. I wish comic books cost that much now. Some of them do. And that was basically it. We have an ad here at the back for like model airplanes. And then on the back cover, we have an advertisement for some watches, and you can switch out the watch face into whatever superhero you wanted, as long as the superhero you wanted was Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Spider-Man, or the Joker. Oh, cool. Spider-Man made the cut. Good on him. All right, folks. We're hopping into the next issue. We're going to read Sensational Wonder Woman Special Number 1. That was released in the year 19. I'm not sure. Not 19. 2000 something. Because the back ad here is an ad for Superman and Lois. But I've been trying to get more into Wonder Woman, figure out who that character is, because, she's really important to the history of comics, but like I don't know much about her. So I was just going through discount bins. I found this, and I figured, this might be a good book to check out. Yeah, so I did. Let's see. Yeah, so I don't know. I picked it up, and we're going to check it out. I think I will go a little bit faster with this one. Oh, there are some interesting ads in this one, so we'll go through this. Go just a little bit faster. It'll be a fun time. Get some kind of stressing doing video game music. Jeez. All right, let's hop into it. let's go ahead and talk about what's been going on here. Uh, we have any comments? Not yet. Hey, somebody joined in. Hi, how are you doing? Welcome to the chat. I'm very excited to have you here. This is cool. All right. So I remember when this story was released. This book was released, must have been around 2020, I think. But I remember when this book was released because there was a lot of controversy over the first story, and it's dumb that there was controversy over this first story. Um, Basically, this villain named the Blue Snowman. Insert your generic ice villain superpower kind of character. Uh, they've been showing up, causing all kinds of issues, freezing the city, and the main plot though that's like secondary. The main plot is about a boy named Will who shows up to his school superhero day, and he decides that he's going to wear this homemade Wonder Woman costume that I made, and he gets made fun of by all the rest of the kids, and ultimately, classic kid being bullied at the school type of story. He shows up and he saves the kids who were bullying him, and Wonder Woman really empowers him. So it's like, yeah, I thought this was cool. I thought it was fine. I thought it was, it's like I said, it's your standard kid being bullied on the playground, but turns out to be a good person kind of story. This just obviously there was some controversy about it for obvious reasons that are kind of dumb, in my opinion. So there's that. Hey, great idea to take time to relax and read for a couple minutes. Thank you very much. Yeah, I thought this was fine. I thought this might be a fun thing to do. So we're going to go ahead and just turn the music back, and we'll keep reading here. I think I'll try to get the next story looks a little bit longer, so I'll try to get the next story in, and then we'll hop back into it. In the meantime, if you have any thoughts or you have any ideas or you just want to chat, go ahead and throw it in the chat. I'm monitoring it. We'll talk. It'll be fine. All right. Pardon me for a moment here. I'm going to make some adjustments. All right, the adjustments made. Back to the book. All right. So that was that one. Let's hop back into what I just read here for a little bit. So this is obviously an anthology book full of different Wonder Woman stories, which is part of why I picked it up because I was hoping that seeing a variety of different kinds of stories that she would be in would kind of give me more of an idea of what's in these books. This one was a little bit longer. Basically, some scientific researchers were messing around with a magic crystal, and it unlocks some eldritch monster or horror on the Earth. And Dr. Fate shows up and enlists the help of Wonder Woman to take it down. The art is really, really intricate. That's the first thing I would say about it. There was a really impressive page here where she was like being sucked into the madness of the beast right here. That one. Look at that. That is really, really specific and intricate art. That is really interesting and really cool. I really like that. Um, as far as the story itself, though, I mean, it's fine. I don't know. The story wasn't really speaking to me a whole lot. I don't know if that's the character's fault or if it was just like the setting. Maybe I'm just not that much into high fantasy. Maybe I don't know. It's I'm not sure, but that's that story. So, like I said, really intricate art, really interesting. Just not seemingly interesting to me right now. But we'll keep on reading. We'll hop into the next part of this book, the next story here, and see what it does. This one looks like it might star Wonder Girl instead. I don't know. We'll see. But like I said, if you have any thoughts, you have any questions about comic books, or if you're reading something, tell me about what you're reading. Let's chat in the comments. It'll be a fun time. And let's turn up the music and hop back into the book. Story is really good. I'm excited to tell you about it. Really great. It's hilarious, and I love it. Oh, I'm excited to talk about this. Oh man. Oh boy. Music totally stopped. That was awkward. Sorry. All right. Okay, this was a fun story. That was a lot of fun, actually. Holy cow! Let's go ahead and take the music back down. All right, cool. I'll catch you next time too. We'll see if this becomes a weekly thing. I'm thinking it could be. We're going to have to do some adjustments to the format if it is though. But that's okay. First time we're learning. All right, this book is that was very funny. So basically, it's about these two teenage girls, Abby and Devin, and they are on a class field trip to the Hall of Justice, and Cersei shows up, and she's trying to rob the place. But Wonder Woman is also there trying to stop Cersei from robbing it. But then Cersei does some magic mumbo jumbo and switches Devin and Wonder Woman's bodies. So you have like this angsty teenage girl in the body of Wonder Woman trying to figure that out. And you have Wonder Woman who is in the body of this teenage girl trying to figure out high school and stuff. It's very, very funny. It's like legitimately top tier story. This was so great. They figure each other out. You know, it's very. They even mention it in the story that it's like Freaky Friday. So they figure out each other out, and they come to a better understanding of each other. And it was cute. It was a cute story. You know what? That story by itself. That story and the first story. There's three stories in here. The first one and the third one totally made this worth picking up. I found it pretty easily. There were a ton of copies. Looks like there's a lot of different variant covers. I got the International Women's Day cover because I liked seeing all of the superheroes on here, and it was my favorite cover that I saw there. So you know what? I would check this out. If you have any interest in Wonder Woman, this was a fun book. This was a fun time. I enjoyed it. So there you go. Check it out. As far as ads, I guess we went over the ads before, so let's go over the ads today. The ads are a very interesting time capsule for this one. We have an ad here for the Naomi TV show. That lasted a whole 23 minutes. That was not a long lasting show. Um, I guess it was kind of a Superman spinoff. I don't know. Naomi showed up for a little bit during Brian Michael Bendis' Superman run, and then she disappeared. And I don't know if she's done anything since then. Like, I don't know what happened to her. She got a TV show. Um, I have suspect she only appeared in the comics so they could make a TV show out of her. But I don't know. For a character that is Superman related tangentially, it's weird that I don't know more about her. So I'd probably want to look into that. We also have an ad for some new 52 Wonder Woman, which by the time this book releases, New 52 Wonder Woman would be rather old. But usually, these house ads like this, they're usually advertising either the artist or the writer or the artist writer combo rather than the book itself, strictly speaking. So that's probably a thing. We also have an ad for some of the Earth One graphic novels. Wonder Woman Earth One, I read that one. I hated it. That was not a good book. Not as far as I'm concerned. Look, there's also Earth One, Green Lantern, and Teen Titans. I haven't read Teen Titans or Green Lantern Earth One, but I loved Superman Earth One. That's the only other one I've read, and I loved it to pieces. It was so good. Yeah, so 2022, I guess, because the next ad we get is for The Batman. The movie released in 2022, 23? 22. 23? Shoot, when was the Batman released? Well, we have an ad for that, which means the new 52 Wonder Woman books would have been rather old by this point. It's surprising to see ads for them. But I guess Wonder Woman has two of the compact edition books. DC was making these compact edition books. They're a little bit smaller than your standard comic as far as like size goes. And Wonder Woman has two of them. One of them is Earth One, and the other one is the first arc in the New 52. So maybe it just has some staying power. Maybe I should check it out. It's $10. That's how much this cost. This cost me $10. It shouldn't have cost me $10. The shop I was going to wasn't very cool about their pricing. Or maybe they're really cool about their pricing. Maybe I just need to sift through it, find something that the cover price is less than the current price. Maybe that's what I need to do. Maybe there's gold in them hills. Maybe. I got it at a different comic shop than I usually go to, so that was the difference there. But if the books are not individually priced and they just give them to me at the cover price, there could be real opportunity there. If you find a comic shop that does that, you should take a look. You should take a gander at it, see what you can find. All right, let's put this back here. All right. So that was the Batman ad. We also have an ad for. I really like that story. That was fun. Um, Death of the Justice League number 75, it looks like. I remember that story. That was a big deal. Scott Snyder, famous for writing all of the Batman books you love. He was writing. No, I guess he wasn't. That was Joshua Wood Williams. I feel like Scott Snyder was writing Justice League around this time. Or am I crazy? I might be crazy. All right. And the other ad, we got Batman Beyond the White Knight. White Knight was interesting. There's a lot to say about White Knight. I don't have a copy of White Knight. There is a compact edition of it, which means that it is really cheap and really available. So maybe I'll have to look into that. We also got Batman Beyond Neo Year, which I haven't read a whole lot of Batman Beyond, but of course the TV show is legendary. Um, this ad, I think this is for a shopping app. I'm not sure what this is. The fact that it's been several years and I don't know what it is tells me it's probably not worth looking into at this point. Um, there wasn't anything in that ad I wanted to have anyway. Flashpoint Beyond. I don't know what's up with that, but Flashpoint was a big deal, so of course we're going to milk that for as much as we can. It's another Jeff Johns story, so there you go. Oh, looking at it, it looks like it might be a tie-in to um, Doomsday Clock because those two villains right there, they're the villains of Doomsday Clock, which was the sequel to Watchmen. Watchmen being its own thing. And then the last ad, I've already mentioned it, is an ad for Superman and Lois season 1. Love that show. Love it dearly. Everyone should see that show. It's great family viewing. It has just enough drama to keep things going. It's really high action. If you liked Superman, but you want to see a Superman who has a little bit more experience behind him, has a little bit more family to worry about, I cannot recommend the show enough. It's so good. All right. Next, The Killing Joke. Now, I've mentioned before that the point of the me picking up The Killing Joke. Yeah, I mentioned before the point of me picking this book up was that the re-releases and the commonly available version of it right here has different coloring than it did originally. They redid the coloring to make it darker, make it a little bit more somber, make it match what other Batman books were looking like at the time. I don't want to point fingers, but I'm willing to bet it was Batman Hush that was like changing everything, and so they felt like they needed the Killing Joke to tie into it. Ah. But talking about the Killing Joke here, uh, this led to me having a fan theory here. The Killing Joke, it wasn't originally canon, but then it was brought into canon later just because it's so darn good. Like, this book was really really popular. People really really liked it, and so it got from its non-canon status into canon status, which is crazy for a book to do. My fan theory is that the canon version is the reworked colors, and the original colors is the non-canon version of it, because the original colors put the ending of the book in a different context and in a different light. I think that's really interesting. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at this one. I don't think there's actually any ads in the middle of it, but yeah, like I said, hop into the chats, go ahead and comment, go ahead and share what you've been reading. Let's hop back into it. I'll turn the music back up and we'll hop into reading. I'm really excited actually to look at this and see it in its original coloring. I have not read it in its original colors before. This is going to be cool. Ooh. Oh, the coloring makes a big difference. Oh my goodness. Oh. Hmm. Color creates. All right, let's. Okay, we got to talk about coloring. Coloring makes a huge difference. It is one of the secrets to your comic being good. That and lettering are always looked over and just not talked about. And it drives me nuts because so much of what you interpret in your comic book or in art in general is how color plays into it and how the lettering plays into it. It's really, really cool. Like this scene here, I'm just reading this page right here. it feels so much darker because of the colors. Like I get a completely different feel from this than I do in the standard, black and white coloring that they use in the original, and not the original, the re-release of it. It's really, really cool. I'm getting so much out of this. This is ah, they shouldn't have changed the coloring. This is better. This is infinitely better. I mean, way more interesting. Okay, we're getting back into this. Remember, if you have any thoughts, go ahead and comment. I'm watching the comments, so happy to chat. Yeah, the new coloring, the old coloring, I should say, does some big things. This is cool. All right, so let's go ahead and bring this back down. So for those of you who don't know what this book is about, it's essentially just them trying to come up with the quintessential Joker origin story. He tries to prove that in one bad day, you could take anyone who is completely sane and turn them insane and criminal just one bad day. So he tries to create that one bad day for Commissioner Gordon. He uh, maims Batgirl. He ends up shooting her, and she gets paralyzed, which wasn't originally the case, but in the comics. But then, because of how successful this book was, they retroactively made it canon. And all the while, he keeps flashing back to one of his origin stories. Now, it's generally accepted that this origin story is at least not 100% the way that they tell it in this. It might be close. I believe that it is pretty close. I believe that this story, Joker's swinging in and out of his own sanity here, which is why the story is the way that it is. One of the things I'm noticing about this, though, is that I like the coloring the way that it is, generally speaking, but there are some points, like here, where I think it might have gone a little bit overboard. Like we're trying to show off the reds here, right? We're trying to show off the reds in the images, and I think it kind of gets a little bit washed out in all of the yellow. Whereas I think in the new edition, we can go ahead and check. In the new edition, I think it's less that. Um, yeah, actually, the new edition does it the way I think it should be done. It's all completely black and white except for the red. So that right there, I think, is an example of the new coloring being a little bit better in that scenario. I can accept that both of these are really good as far as their coloring is concerned. It's just I think some instances deserve the deeper colors like this, and other instances deserve the mellow colors like that. Another example is going to be uh, the colors are a little bit washed out on this next page, and that's just I don't know. There's an interesting longer discussion we can have about the coloring differences between the two. Like I said, I'm monitoring the chat, so feel free to chat. All right, let's go ahead and talk about this then. So, the reason why this coloring is so significant, or one of the reasons anyway, it recontextualizes a lot of parts of the book, but especially the ending. See, the ending is left famously ambiguous in this book. In the modern version of it, it's implied that Batman and the Joker, they both live and they both move on, and further stories get to happen. But in the original coloring, they changed a puddle from underneath Batman and Joker's feet from just a puddle to a red puddle. And it's implied that this was the story where Batman finally killed the Joker. Now, it's there's enough plausible deniability to that. Like they Alan Moore is a master at like staging things and pacing in stories. And he leaves the ending of it still very ambiguous, and the coloring still makes it really ambiguous, but it makes it more possible that Batman killed the Joker in this book than it does in the newer edition. I wouldn't be surprised if a big part of why they changed the coloring in the new edition is so they could put that theory to rest and they could make it part of the actual canon without any questions about who's actually still around. So this was cool, and I'm glad that I picked it up. I'm glad it's a thing. Um, yeah. So as far as this book goes, if you have the new edition, I think it's worth picking this up. If you haven't read this book at all, it's not for the faint of heart. This book still makes it clear it's not for the faint of heart. My goodness, there is some spooky stuff in this. But that is, an important part of comic book history because it's an important book. It changed a lot of the ways that people saw superheroes. And, I talked about how the 70s worked really hard to make Batman feel more um, serious and important in that way. And this book gets a lot of the credit for making Batman serious. So there you go. That's the ball game for me today. That is Comic Book Chill Night, our first one. This was great. Glad that you guys got to show up, or if you're watching later, I'm glad you got to watch later. As a recap, we got the first half of the Jokerfish story. This was a blast. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed seeing the extra context on it that you don't get in the animated series episode. Cool stuff. I also read, um, here it is, Sensational Wonder Woman Special number 1 from, I think, 2022? 23? 22? 23? One of those 2 years. It's from there. And 3 stories in it. The first one I thought was pretty decent, if not a little bit basic. The second story I just wasn't getting into, but I'm not much into the Eldritch monster thing. And the third story was, kind of inconsequential, but a ton of fun. If you can find it for cheap, I don't see any reason why not to recommend it. And then we read the original coloring, The Killing Joke. And I already gave my recommendation for that. If you love this story, or if you've read the new one, I would recommend picking up the original coloring because it recontextualizes a lot of the story, puts a lot of it in a different light. Literally, that's how color works. It's light. It's really, really cool. All right. But that's what I got for you guys today. Thank you for joining me on Comic Book Chill Night. I hope that we can do this again. I thought this was a nice way to hang out and, keep an eye out for more videos coming up soon. And until next time, thank you for joining me. Have a great day. Remember to always be your best self and make sure you're reading good comic books. It's a blast.